Thank you so much, and good morning, Mr. President.
Morning, Steve.
Very happy to be with you. I think instances of extrajudicial killings still persist, despite the good work that has gone on in terms of reforming the police service. They actually renamed it from police force to police service and created an independent oversight authority called IPOA. The mandate of IPOA is to investigate all killings by police officers to rule out the possibility that that killing is unlawful. If it's unlawful, of course, then they would recommend prosecution of those police officers. Internal affairs unit also has a corresponding obligation to audit the conduct of its officers. But I think in the overall, you cannot entirely rule out the possibility that from time to time, you will get rogue officers getting into service or good officers turning rogue in the course of their service. And that is why those oversight mechanisms do exist. It's unfortunate that police officers still do not adhere to their code. We also have the United Nations Basic Human Rights Standards, which spells out the mechanism for use of lawful force and how to escalate that force in case of resistance. What I think has been disturbing is that some of these killings is that there was really no evidence of resistance. And I think that's very unfortunate, and we just hope that when investigations are completed, regardless of the profile of the persons involved, we'll be able to see justice in the sense that these police officers, if they acted irregularly and contrary to the law, they'll be arrested and arraigned in court.
Okay. We saw 4 police officers. We saw several, actually, officers attached to the now infamous SSU interrogated. 4 of them arraigned in court. Their advocate, and I think it's Danstan Omari, stating that they were arrested because they, quote-unquote, refused to fix their seniors. So, Steve, when you talk about rogue officers, what happens when they're committing these offenses with the blessings of their higher-ups?
That's the point. That's the point. I think one of the reasons why officers go rogue is because they have political protection. And I think they need to know, and this is a pressing problem in the past administration, it appears that the political wing of government sanctioned some of these illegal killings, and then because the political administration provides that political cover, and to an extent shields them from legal accountability, then now they just do what they want. I think the disbandment of that unit is a welcome move because it has already been delegitimized. Even if it was supposed to serve a legitimate purpose as a special unit, I don't think Kenyans have confidence in it. And maybe it needs to be, okay, it was disbanded. If it's going to be reconstituted differently, my appeal to these special units is that they need to know that power itself is transient, and if a political administration leaves and another one comes, they will be audited and then they'll be held to account. What I like about which sounds oxymoronic, about impunity, is that impunity in the long term inconveniences those who benefit from it. Because then, if you do things outside the law and outside laid down procedures because you have political protection, and that's impunity, if you operate on a framework of impunity, when that framework collapses, then you remain exposed. And then it's easy now to be held to account. So I think we should spare a little sympathy for these officers who have been arraigned. I'm not saying that they are guilty. As lawyers, we cannot say that. But I think there's sufficient reason for their arraignment and their prosecution. Looking at the facts so far that are coming out, the manner in which this unit has operated, I think it's a welcome move. But to characterize their arrest as persecution is to turn logic on its own head. Because the evidence on the face of it shows that these are the persecutors. Instead of defenders of the law, they have become violators of the law. And if there's an honest attempt to hold them to account, and then now you waive the sanctity of, then you come and say that this is persecution, I think it's a bit paradoxical. We must hold rogue officers to account. And I'm very excited to see the DCI itself. I know Paul was saying that the DCI does not have the capacity to investigate its own officers. It actually does, and that's why there's a corresponding obligation between IPOA's mandate and the internal unit. So I think let investigations go. We are very keen. I hope Mr. President will tell us, because it's a matter of great public interest, whether LSK would be happy to, watch brief in that process, and not just see how the intended prosecution goes.
Okay.
In the public interest.
All right. We've happened to get into the conversation already. I was hoping to get through the paper, but